Should David invest his Roth and his traditional IRA the same way? So I'm going to read you this email from old David here. He has a Roth and a traditional IRA. Each adds about $250,000. Good job, David. Good job. Look, I broke my PVC pipe. How dare I? How dare I? Do I have to set up the 2 3-fund portfolios and each account separately, having 2 parallel accounts with the same mix of funds? Is there any advantage to having stocks or bonds in any of the accounts? I thought about Roth conversion, but since I'm 62, the break-even point and difference did not seem viable. Well, you also got to think about your kids and your wife there too, guy. So I don't know if you're married or you have kids and wife, but when you're doing Roth conversions, it ain't just about you, brother. Now, if you're single, probably not. But if you're married or you got children, yeah, there might be some benefits there for Roth conversion. All right, so old Dave's got $250,000 each. I'm not sure what he's asking about the 3-fund portfolio. Hold on a second. Do I have to set up the 2 3-fund portfolios in each account separately? I'm not sure what he's saying here. So we're just going to say for simplicity, all right, we're going to say he's got a 50-50 stock to bond portfolio, a 50-50 ratio stocks to bonds. 50-50. All right. In my opinion, bonds should be here and stocks there. And the simple reason for that, frankly, and this really won't change much, even though bonds are a little bit more attractive now. Before I said no bonds and Roths, but now you get 5% on bonds, so I got no qualm with bonds and Roth. But in this case, if we got a 50-50 portfolio, we want his bonds in here and his stocks in there. And the reason for that is simple. The unlimited upside on the stocks. There's all tax. Roth is tax-free, so we got unlimited upside. This can go to the moon and beyond, like no man has ever been before. Neil and Buzz, were they really on the moon? Really? Did they really go 25,000 miles an hour and escape velocity? Okay. Anyway, so here we got Roth, 250, you can go to the moon, and we know the downside risk of the stocks are what? Just here, 0. So in my investment course, I talk about that. Stocks have limited downside and unlimited upside. The bonds have, there's why we call it fixed income. They're just fixed. Fixed. That's it. That's their upside, and well, that's their downside, and their upside is here. And so between your bond, that's all you can get. Stocks are perpetual potential growth. So because this is tax-free, we want our stocks in the Roth, 100%. Because this is tax-deferred, we want our bonds in our IRA, 100%. And by the way, if we're going to throw a third account in there, and so if you had a 70-30 portfolio, I do all my stocks in here for sure. And see a 70-30 portfolio on $500,000, so 0.7 times 5, that's $350,000. So we'd have $250 in stocks here, and we'd have it'd be 150, right? Yeah, something like that. It'd be 150 in bonds there and 100 in stocks there. So however it is, we want our Roth to consist of all of our stocks. Now, if you're under the age of 59 and a half and this is a Roth IRA with access to principal and you're using that as an emergency account, maybe not, but I'm not going to get in that here today. But let's throw a third option in here. And this is a big one here. And I wish more people would understand this because I think it's huge. So now we're going to say for simplicity, a taxable account. We got $250,000 here. What the hell is that? That's weird, making squeak. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Squeak, squeak, squeak. All right, what is it doing on that side? All right. Anyway, so $250,000 in here. All right. No bonds in here. No bonds in there. Why? Because the bonds are taxed as ordinary income. What else is taxed as ordinary income? Ordinary income. What else is tax-free? Tax-free. We want this to give us, this also has unlimited growth and limited downside. All right? But the thing about this account is you have qualified dividend income and you have long-term capital gain income. Both are tax preferential, or in terms of this is better than ordinary income. All right? Both of these are taxed better, more preferentially, than ordinary income. We do not want to take long-term capital gain and qualified dividend income and put it here, because then we've converted this preferential tax treatment to something least efficient, which is ordinary income. Where this IRA, everything that comes out of here is taxed as OI, everything. Anything that's in here is taxed as ordinary income. If it's in a brokerage account and it's stocks and you put it into an IRA, you're losing out on qualified dividend income, long-term capital gain tax, which is much, much more favorable. You might not pay any tax on qualified dividend income and long-term capital gain. If you're married filing jointly and you have gross income roughly 130 in today's, what's this, 2024, you don't pay any qualified dividend, ordinary long-term capital gain. Obviously, if you go over the threshold, you do. But still, at the end of the day, you can have tax-free income. Here you can't. I don't care what your tax bracket is, other than up to the standard deduction. It's coming out as ordinary income. We don't want that. We want to reduce our ordinary income. We want to increase our qualified dividend income, long-term capital gain, and our tax-free income. Oh, by the way, guess what happens here? Let's say we have stocks in this guy. All right? So now we got our IRA. Not only does the RMDs come out as OI, required of ordinary income, but let's say the stocks go to the moon with Neil and Buzz. They're to the moon. Yay! $25,000, breakneck speed, and we did it, human beings. Okay, so now guess what happens? This money goes, you die, this money gets inherited to your kids, so you have to pay what on it? Ordinary income tax on that whole growth. Whole growth, they got to pay OI on that. You give it to your spouse, now she's a widow, you give it to her, she has to pay OI on it. Crazy. And if it goes to your non-spouse beneficiaries, they got 10 years to distribute it. 10 years. If they had $1 million there, they got to take it out. You don't have to do it all one fell swoop. They can do it piecemeal. Either way, money's coming out of taxes, 100% ordinary income. On the other hand, if it's this guy, we already know if it's in there, it's tax-free. So here we got Buzz and Neil. Remember, Michael's just looking over his shoulder. He's like, hey, Houston, we got a problem. Buzz and Neil. All right, so we got Buzz and Neil up here. Whatever this goes, tax-free. Ordinary income. Guess what else is tax-free? Oh, this guy right here goes to the moon. Yay, with Buzz and Neil. Goes from $250 to $1 million. Guess what? Your kids inherit that tax-free. They pay no income tax, capital gain tax on that with a step-up basis rule that everyone says is going away. Okay, we'll worry about that some other time. It's not, there's any legislation at all, even anything that's even gotten even into a committee. Never mind just being proposed that says get rid of step-up basis. So not only do you have tax favorable treatment here with QDIs and long-term capital gain, you get a step-up basis. The entire growth is tax-free upon your demise. On top of that, that $250, if you take out, you don't have to pay tax on it because it's principal. I was talking to a guy yesterday, freaking young guy. He and his wife are crushing. He's just freaking kicking ass. I was like, dude, America is still the place to be. We got so many crushers in our country. It's insane to me. Anyway, I said, dude, I said, you got to live off your brokerage account and then your Roth because they're going to be on Obamacare. So make sure you're living off your brokerage account and then your Roth because we want to get those subsidies because they're going to get massive amount of subsidies. Thanks, Obama! It'd be surprised. It's not Obamacare, it's the Affordable Care Act. Hate people too literal. Anyway, so I said live off your brokerage account and your Roth. Your brokerage account first, then your Roth, and then you'll be on Medicare and you're good to go. Because they're going to, like I said, we're talking $1,000 a month of subsidies. You know, for a silver plan, it's going to cost like $51 a month or something like that for he and his wife. And I was like, pfft. Now, how good is the insurance? I don't know. If they're like me, they're not going to go see the doc. You know, I'll get my finger jammed. My PC primary care physician will say, bend over, jam it. I'm like, ugh, to see about my prostate. Not a fan of that. I get my physical, like cough. I'm like, ugh. And my primary care physician is a lady. I'm like, oh, this is not good. And then I get my blood work done once a year. And then I just say, no vaccines, not for this guy. So keep them. But it's shingles, no vaccines, not for this guy. You can do it. I'm not going to be mad if you take them. I don't care. Anyway, so the point being was I said the nice thing about your brokerage account is this what's called specific identification. So when it comes to pulling money from your brokerage, you can specify what shares you want, what lot they have in terms of cost basis relative to the unrealized capital gain. So if let's say you have 10 different lots and he has money at Vanguard. By the way, I did put some apple cider vinegar in my hair today. I was talking about my scalp the other day. I was itchy. People said, "You got a dry scalp." I said, "All right." So what's her name? Angie from California and Andrew from Ohio said, "Put apple cider vinegar in your hair." And man, it feels really good. So I put some in my hair. I let it sit there for a couple minutes. I think Andrew said let it go in there for 5 minutes. I forgot. So I'll do it again tomorrow. Not itching so much anymore. I did a little itch right there, but not so much. So good job, Andrew and Angie. And I told Andrew, I said, my hair falls out, you're going to have to deal with my wife. You know what I'm saying? And then, but then Andrew's, crusty old curmudgeon, but he's got a full set of hair. So I was like, I'm not sure I trust old Andrew there. But then Angie comes in, and she's quite attractive. And she says, it works. I said, okay, well, I'll listen to her. I'm not going to listen to you, Andrew. I'll let some dude tell me what to do with my hair. Especially Andrew's like a workman. He's a working guy. He works with hands. Like, what do you know about hair? What the hell is this, man? I couldn't believe it. So not only does he know how to fix stuff, and mechanically and all this crap, I forgot what Andrew did, but he's like, knows hair stuff. I was like, dude, jeez. Only skill I got is this. I got no skills. I don't know how to take care of my hair. I barely know how to brush my teeth. Anyway, so in this case, I told the guy, so we have specific identification. We can identify the lot of shares at the least taxes, because we got to be careful when we're selling stocks, mutual funds, whatever, because we don't want to show a lot of income on our 1040, which we could lose our Obamacare subsidies. So I said, what happens is you'll see these lots again. I specifically identify which lots to sell. And you want to sell the ones with the highest cost basis. Highest cost basis means the least amount of taxes. The lowest cost basis means the most amount of taxes. And you can do what's average is what they'll do to default. And what they'll say here is like, so let me give you an example. It's going a lot. I didn't expect to do this whole bit. You can see how I really don't script these videos, right? I did not expect to go in this tangent, but I love freaking talking taxes, man. I love it. Talking taxes is like freaking fantasy football for crazy people because they love their fantasy football. I don't get it. I love talking taxes. It just makes me feel good about myself to say, oh man, the IRS is laying out the code for you. It's up to you to figure it out to beat it. You're going to pay tax. The question is, would you rather pay ordinary income tax, long-term capital gain, or ordinary income, qualified dividend, long-term capital gain? Which would you rather pay? And the answer is inherently always no tax, qualified dividend, long-term capital gain, then OI. What else I get ready to say? Oh, so in this case, we'll just say he has 200 for simplicity because I can do my math. He has 200,000 in a value of his brokerage, a non-IRA, and we'll say it's 150,000 cost basis. All right. So what that means when they do average in terms of distributions, so 75% of this, right? Yeah, 75%. Yeah. Is his percentage of cost basis. So if he sells an average share, let's say for $10,000, 7,500, 75% is his cost basis. He'll have a taxable gain on that $2,500. That'll be his long-term capital gain. That's how that works. Can you all see that? So basically, they're going to average up. What is your percentage of your cost basis when you make a sale? If we're going to do average, we'll say $2,500 is your long-term capital gain. $7,500 is a return of principal. So now what will happen is they'll reduce by 200,000 to 190, and then they'll reduce their cost basis by $7,500, 142,500, I guess. That would be it. All right, so that's how it works. Obviously, when the markets change, it can go up, it can go down. The cost basis won't, though. The cost basis changes only when a dividend or a capital gain distribution. If it's an index fund, there won't be any capital gain distributions. I don't get that. It doesn't matter. I've done other videos on index funds with long-term capital gains. If it's Vanguard, there aren't any. But you can do this, or you can do specific. Now, on the other hand, if you have a $50,000 cost basis, then it's the exact opposite. Then only 25% is our basis percentage, if that makes sense. So if you're going to do an average distribution here, then you'd have 2,500 of a return of principal, and this would be 7,500 of long-term capital gain. So you got to be careful there. Again, specific identification is usually the way to go. And most brokerage firms, at least I've seen, is pretty easy. So sell those shares, don't sell those. Anyway, what are your thoughts on it? Tax is a big deal. You got to know tax, man. So for me, I'm building everything in here, and everything is now in my, I guess I can't see it. Everything is now in my Roth. So I got all my IRA monies in my Roth. I'm just plugging, man. And then I got my house, which is when I sell, it'll be tax-free for sure, because you get $500,000 capital gain exclusion. Weird how that hasn't been adjusted for inflation. It's weird how they keep forgetting to adjust stuff for inflation. But anyway, so I'll sell that, whatever gain I have, I'm not gain, but whatever I pocket off this, after I have to buy my other house, I'll just put into a brokerage account just like this. And so you have, $10 million, whatever it is going to be. You know what I'm saying? I'll just have a brokerage account, a Roth, Social Security, tax-free for you and me. All right, God bless. We'll see you. Put your comments in the doobie-doo.